The wish was so small it could have been a firefly, yet it pulsed like a heartbeat waiting to be heard. No one knew who first placed the tiny glass jar under the old oak. But Milo the mouse found it at dawn, glowing softly like a lost star. When he touched it, a faint whisper fluttered against his whiskers, gentle, trembling, asking to be carried. Milo had never heard a silent wish before. Wishes were supposed to be spoken aloud, shouted toward the sky, or carved into bark. But this one hid itself. Too shy to be voiced. Too hurt to be named. He held the jar close. Inside, a light swirled quietly, warm and tired. A feeling washed over him, "Help me find where I belong." Something in Milo's small heart stretched wider. He may have been tiny, but he was not afraid of quiet things. That morning, he made a decision that would change the whole whispering forest. He would gather every forgotten, unspoken wish, and return them to their owners before they faded forever. Milo tucked the glowing jar into a leaf sling and stepped onto the path, the old oak rustling above him as if exhaling relief. That was how the journey began. With a little mouse, a trembling wish, and a forest waiting to remember what it once hoped for. The second wish didn't glow like the first. It shivered. Milo found it in a hollow log where frost still clung to the bark. The jar was cold, dim, and heavy with something like fear. When he touched it, a broken sigh echoed inside. Not far from the log sat Luna the rabbit, eyes tired from too many sleepless nights. Milo approached her gently. "Luna, is this yours?" She looked at the jar and flinched. "I stopped dreaming," she whispered. "Winter pressed on me so long I forgot how." Milo held the silent wish closer. A soft image flickered within, Luna curled in a peaceful burrow, breathing deeply, unafraid. Her forgotten wish was simply to sleep safely again. Milo pressed the jar into her paws. Maybe wishes don't disappear. Maybe they just wait for us. When Luna finally closed her eyes that night, the jar brightened. Milo watched as her breathing steadied, slow, warm, free. The silent wish dissolved into a gentle glow that wrapped her like a blanket. And Milo realized something important. Some wishes aren't loud. They're fragile. And that makes them sacred. The third wish sounded like a fading lullaby drifting through the trees. A melody, thin, cracked, floated toward Milo as he wandered through the mist marsh. He followed it until he found Riven the fox sitting alone, throat trembling with the effort to sing. But no sound came out. Riven's silent wish rattled weakly inside its jar, releasing faint musical notes that fell like dust. Milo understood instantly. Riven longed to hear his own voice again. "The marsh steals things," Riven croaked. "Songs, memories, courage." To restore the fox's voice, Milo had to find the echo fern, a rare plant that grows only where silence is deepest. He ventured through thick fog, sinking mud, and ghosts of lost sounds until he spotted the fern glowing blue. When he returned, Riven touched the fern and inhaled. A quiet hum rose in his chest, then bloomed into a full, rich tone that vibrated through the air. His silent wish burst into tiny musical sparks and vanished. Riven laughed in disbelief. "You brought my voice back." Milo smiled. "You just needed someone to hear you first. Some wishes don't shine. Some hide." Safi the squirrel lived high in the canopy, where no one could see her sadness. She hoarded acorns, berries, and memories she didn't want. Milo found jars buried under every branch and root, each holding a fragment of a silent wish she refused to claim. When Milo finally found her, Safi sat with her tail wrapped tightly around herself. "I don't want anyone to notice me," she said. "Because they might ask what's wrong." "But hiding doesn't make wishes safer," Milo replied softly. It just makes them heavier. The silent wish inside Safi's jar flickered faintly. Please let someone see me, even when I hide. Tears shimmered in her round eyes. I didn't think anyone would care. I do, Milo said. And your wish does too. As she held the jar, the buried jars beneath the branches lit up one by one, tiny lanterns revealing all the feelings she had tucked away. One by one, the jars dissolved into light. Safi exhaled, shoulders loosening for the first time. Thank you for finding me. When the deer walked by, the moonlight refused to cast a shadow. Aster the deer moved like a ghost, elegant but hollow. Milo noticed immediately, the light did not cling to her. No shadow followed her steps. Her silent wish jar was unlike the others, transparent, almost empty, as if fading. What did you wish for? Milo asked. Aster lowered her head. To matter. To someone. She believed she had been forgotten long ago by the friend she once trusted, a young bird named Nori who migrated and never returned. But Milo sensed something different inside the jar, the faint imprint of a bird's wing. Maybe your friend didn't forget. Maybe the wish is still waiting. Together, they searched the sky until a small voice chirped her name. Nori returned, older, but filled with guilt for leaving without goodbye. I flew back every year, she said, but I never found you. Their reunion warmed the forest. When Aster touched her silent wish, light burst outward, and a shadow finally formed beneath her hooves. She no longer walked unseen. A wish tried to fly, and the wind pushed it back. This silent wish was enormous, so heavy the jar could barely contain it. When Milo tried to lift it, the wind groaned and reversed direction, refusing to help. This isn't one creature's wish, Milo realized. It belongs to the whole forest. The trees trembled. The streams slowed. The ground hummed with worry. The shared silent wish was simple, heartbreaking. Please, don't let us disappear. The forest feared fading, forgotten by seasons, animals, time. Milo knew no one creature could lift such a wish. But many together could. He gathered Luna, Riven, Safi, Aster, and every friend he had helped so far. They placed their paws, hooves, wings, and hearts against the jar. The wind paused, then softened. Together, they raised the wish toward the sky, and the wind finally carried it, slowly, tenderly. The forest exhaled in relief. For the first time since the world began, all the jars went black. Milo awoke to silence. Not peaceful silence, empty silence. The jars he collected no longer glowed. The forest felt hollow, like the breath had been sucked from its lungs. Why? Milo whispered. He followed the darkened trail of jars until he reached the old oak, the place everything began. Beneath it lay a forgotten jar he had never noticed before, covered in dust, cold to the touch. Inside was a silent wish meant for him. But Milo had never dared make a wish of his own. He had always been the helper, never the dreamer. And because his heart held a wish he refused to acknowledge, all the other wishes had dimmed. Milo, the old oak murmured, you must let yourself want something too. He held the jar, trembling, afraid. The forest waited, breathless. The last wish belonged to the one who gathered them all. Milo sat beneath the old oak, tiny paws shaking as he held his forgotten silent wish. Inside the jar swirled a fragile glow, one he had ignored for too long. What if my wish is selfish? He whispered. Riven the fox placed a paw on his shoulder. Wishes aren't selfish. They're human, well, mouse. Luna smiled. Tell us, Milo. What does your heart want? He closed his eyes. Inside the jar, He saw himself surrounded by friends, by warmth, by a forest that stayed alive because creatures cared for one another. His wish was simple. I wish not to be alone anymore. The jar shone so brightly it split open into pure light. It washed over the forest, reigniting every silent wish that had ever been made. Leaves glittered. Streams glowed. Every creature felt their hope return. And Milo, small, brave Milo, was lifted gently by the wind as the forest whispered, "You were never alone." From that day forward, Milo didn't just gather silent wishes. He lived among them. A reminder that even the smallest heart can hold a wish big enough to save a world.